Welcome back, fight friends, once again to another edition of the Mighty Shoutout Podcast. The most appearances ever on the Shoutout Podcast right here, Mr. Kieran Keddle. How are you, sir?
I am excited. It's fight week.
Yes, sir. Fight week, eh? It
Yep.
came up quick. Obviously, we're talking about the Muay Thai World Cup. What number is this one? Do you remember?
Yep, 12. We did do, we have actually done about 15, but we had one was considered a drive-in through COVID, if you remember that one.
Sure
and the
do.
other one was a COVID fundraiser. So, and then we did an amateur-only show, if you remember, at the Bullhead, where Quigg fought Hope Quinn.
Yeah, that's right.
So
That was a good card, by the way.
yeah, it was a really good card, yeah. But yeah, so this is the 12th professional card that we've done.
Nice. Before we get into the fights, I did see, I think it was yesterday, the day before, that you put up a post that you got a new location opening up.
Correct, yeah. Gym number 2.
There you go.
It's in Cochrane. So I've been scouring Cochrane for a while. I took my kid to football, soccer, at a local leisure centre, recreation centre there, and it was absolutely packed. Wrestling going on, wall climbing going on, the soccer programme, kids, gymnastics, hockey, of course, all these. Well, when I say I'm not joking, it was probably on a Tuesday night, 3,000 kids in this hall.
What?
I couldn't believe it. And then I was like, well, you know what? I started looking at stats and figures of Cochrane, and I was like, there isn't a Muay Thai gym here.
Yeah.
Right, this is a good opportunity. So I started looking, and because of those stats I've just given you, the pricing of trying to get a unit in Cochrane is extremely high now.
Yes.
It actually is the fastest growing city in Canada.
Yeah, I believe it.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
So, I made a few phone calls, and then I got this call out the blue and just said, look, I've got this really nice sized basement. Would you like to have a look at it? Right downtown in Cochrane. I was like, yeah, sure.
They just called you out of the blue?
Out of the blue.
Wow.
It was a friend of a friend.
Okay.
And I drove there within 1 hour, signed the lease.
Oh, no way.
I was
eh?
like, this is it. You just know, right?
Yeah.
You know when you go into a place and you visualise this is where the ring's going to go, this is where the bag's going to go, this is where the mat's going to go, and
Yeah.
changing rooms, all these sort of things. And
Or
it
very
just
much
made
you end
sense.
up doing the opposite. You go in, you go, man, I'd have to do that. And do that. Like, I don't know, man.
Well, this is quite an old building. It's a 110-year-old building. It's quite old.
Holy.
And so it did need a lot of work. So shout out to Camille and his team, because
Nice.
he absolutely just done an amazing job on it. So we open in 2 weeks.
Nice. There you
April
go.
19th, we're doing a grand opening, but we officially start working properly on the 21st.
Nice. So you're going to be teaching both locations?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Busy man.
Yeah, so I'm here a few nights a week anyway. 2 nights and then one on the weekend. We have other staff members also that cover classes, but I'm going to be going over there 1 night a week and doing a weekend as well. So
Nice.
yeah.
It's been, this place here in Brad Creek has now been open a little while. How's the reception been? How's everything been going with it?
Do you know what? I opened it. I live out here. It's a beautiful place.
Jealous.
You love
Love coming out here.
Well, you got to have words with your wife and get out here.
Listen, man, she's stone cold. You're not going to break her.
So, I love the area. I love the people. Love the community. But it's become now sort of a hub in Brad Creek. Everybody knows about it, which is great. It's exactly what I wanted, right?
Yeah.
And I have about 70 members now.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool. It's a very small population. There's a couple of thousand people that live in Brad Creek and Redwood combined. It's a much older generation of people too.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of, people 60, 70 plus years old.
Yeah.
And generational people have lived here as well, just for, since the 30s, 40s and 50s, and going back even more into that. So you've got those type of people as well. So I didn't expect to have busy classes, but they are jam-packed.
Right on.
I'm
Yeah, I
really
see
proud
that.
of it. I'm really proud of it. And of all the gyms I've had, I'm not just saying it because we're currently here and that's what I'm doing. I'm actually the proudest of this one.
Really?
Yeah, because it's different. The other gyms I had in the UK, for example, they were in a town of a busy place, and you would have another gym on the other side of the town.
Gotcha.
Here we don't. We only have this gym. So it's become a hub and a community. But it's just created a good bond between a lot of people.
Nice.
Which I love to see.
Yeah.
Like you can see after classes, people aren't just rushing home. They're staying 10, 15, 20 minutes, maybe watching the sparring or just getting involved with each other. it's a really good feeling.
And to be honest, in my own life and my gym, but that's what I want.
Yep.
Yeah, I want a community, a bond of people, and yeah, we punch and we kick, but it can go beyond that.
Yes, correct.
You know? Yeah, that's great, man. All right, now we're into fight week here. How are things going up to this point? We've known about this fight card now for quite some time, but now we're in fight week. How's the build up been? The chaos of being a promoter. I mean, there's paperwork like mad. So how's it been up to this point?
Yes, I mean, every show is always busy to a degree of the things you don't see.
Right.
You know, the paperwork, dealing with, you know, the insurances, doctors and venues and things like that. I'm excited, not just for the fight card, obviously, but I'm also excited for a new venue.
Yeah, me too.
You know, the hotel's sold out.
Oh, nice.
And they're delighted. They're like, wow.
I bet.
You know, it's a smaller venue, so the capacity is much smaller, but it's going to be pumping in there. It is literally a small version of the Grey Eagle.
Okay.
So it has all the same sound and all the AV and all the smoke and all the
So that's been a nice
screens.
place.
It's a great little venue, and they've done it up as well. And it is going to be electrifying in there.
Nice.
It really will be. And listen, I've done shows, 10,000 people, 11,000 people, and the atmosphere is like insane, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But then I've had the same atmosphere when I've done a venue of 300-400 people.
Right.
It's closer knit.
Intimate feeling.
Intimate feeling, yeah, and it's going to be like that. That's what I feel.
Yeah. I mean, even the Muay Thai World Cup that happened out in Ontario, I mean, there was maybe 100, 125 people, but even that same sort of intimate feeling was there. You know, it's fun. I agree. It's nice to hold things in a stadium, but sometimes you don't get that same feel that.
No.
Not even that you're looking for, but that should be present.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, nice. Why the Stoney Nakoda?
Well, so I've always used Sutina, and Sutina, their license is getting renewed.
I see.
And they've had a lot of change round of their chief and council.
Okay.
So I wanted this new license, and they said, yeah, we can get it, but you're just going to have to wait.
Sure.
You know, there's lots of other things that are more important than getting
Sure.
your license, getting done. So they turned around and said, we'll get a license, but we're not going to get one until May or June.
Okay.
It might be May, it might be June.
Sure.
I was like, well, how would you feel if I go to another reserve? And they were like, absolutely, gave me the contact details.
Oh, nice.
They support each other.
Nice.
So it's on Mini Thinny, it's called now. So 3 reserves combined now.
Okay.
They've created their own nation as such.
I've driven by that sign a million times and didn't know how to pronounce it. Mini Thinny?
That's it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, I actually, during COVID, got approached about doing events there. When I went there, they turned around to me and said, we're going to give this silica paint, we're going to extend it a little bit, we've got to change some license rules with it, we'll come back to you. A couple of years passed, I'll give them a call. Oh, we've just done it up 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Come and have a look. So I drove up there and met the whole team.
Nice.
And I was like, this goes well, I'll continue using this venue. Honestly, it's got everything you need as a promoter. Okay, it's not the closest to Calgary, admittedly. It's an hour and 30 minutes away from the airport, whatever it is, right? But hotel there, a couple of restaurants, and a venue.
Yeah.
All in one place. And logistically, it's good. It's good parking there.
Well, and like for me coming from Calgary, it's probably maybe a 40-minute drive.
Yep.
And just where you're at in Kananaskis, man, you can't beat that.
No.
Like, it's the only thing that's around. And like you just said, I do remember that a few years ago they did some renovations to it. Like for me, I'm excited to drive out there and be part of that. Like the drive there is going to be fun. Like I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, it's going to be like.
Yeah.
And if you're from outside as well, like Taylor McClatchy's coming over.
Yep.
She's going to go like, wow, because she's got the mountain views.
Yeah.
She'll probably day after the fight, she'll probably go out into Kananaskis because you've got beautiful, literally right, Barrier Lakes there, all those sort of places. So.
Canmore, Banff down the road.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So, for me, the location's great.
Yeah, me too.
I've never been to a venue that ticks absolutely every box, but for me, for what I need, it's perfect.
Yeah, is that right?
It is, honestly.
Cool.
It
okay.
is, yeah.
Nice. I can't wait.
Really good. Yeah, it's going to be, like I said, electrifying crowd for sure. All the standard seats are gone. We've only got a couple of tables left, and then all we've got now is just standing tickets, right?
Nice.
So
okay.
It's going to be good.
How much of a crowd do you expect?
About 500-600.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
500-600. And then, for me, coming out of Calgary, I know it's a harder sell. to some people, right?
Yeah,
you get
not
sponsors.
me.
No. You get because you're a fight fan, right?
Yeah.
You get some sponsors that come along and they'll bring their entertain their clients, but they're like, oh, that's a little bit too far out because they want to have a drink and etc.
Sure.
And I'm like, well, you can stay at the hotel.
Right.
Oh, can you? They didn't know this, right? So, yeah, it's only going to gain momentum. And I think after this event, we get some good filming. Sean will do his masterful work as he always does, and we'll do a sort of a post video.
Nice.
And I think it'll attract more people.
Yeah.
For the next one.
Yeah, the only thing that would stop people, in my opinion, is just it's new to you and you haven't been there yet. You go there once, you'd be like, holy cow,
that's
when we
what's
coming
gonna
back?
happen. Yep, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm super stoked just to be in the area, let alone all the fights. But up to this point, just out of curiosity, what's been the hardest thing to manage? Like, is there a certain type of the paperwork? Is it people or coaches? I'm curious. What have been the sort of the biggest headaches up to this point?
No,
I don't want to say headaches in case it's people.
No. It's always people.
Speed bumps.
It's always people. No, that doesn't mean that. Do you know what? Touch wood, because we're still under a week left and things can happen, right? Mm-hmm. Could be a curse. It's been pretty plain sailing. Yeah, a couple of people are sort of late with their paperwork. That's pretty
Standard,
normal, right? Yeah. And there's been a couple of last minute questions about, rules of a fight or, with the junior fights, etc. But all in all, 18 fights.
Nice.
Not one pullout.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Rare.
We had a little bit of a change round back in start of March on the card, but other than that, it's been good.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
we've been very lucky. A lot, with our cards, to be honest with you, because there isn't much or many fights. I think if people do have a little bit of a shin injury, foot injury, or hand injury, they're going to have to toughen up and go through it, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, they're not going to be fine again for a few months.
That's right.
So,
and we all know who doesn't go into a fight with something.
You would,
Foot, toe, ankle.
I absolutely agree with you, but not everyone thinks like that.
Sure.
Oddly enough, that comes with experience.
Yeah.
Or your coaches have to tell you, well, that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
You know? Toughen up.
Yep. Yeah. You're punching and kicking several hours a day. Something's going to ping, pang. Something's going to go.
Of course. You're going to feel stiff. You're going to feel,
Yep. The weight cut.
Yeah, the weight cut. Oh.
Yep.
All those sort of things. But it's down to your coach and team to drag you through that.
And you chose to do this. This is your choice.
Yes, you did. You chose to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I remember 130 years ago having a few fights, and you're the next fight, and you hear your name getting called. You're like, man, why didn't I take up darts or breeding or something? Like, why did I pick fighting?
But I think even with the darts, there is pressure also, like there is the pressure is created by yourself.
True. But without the pressure of your eye socket getting broken with a knee or an elbow, that kind of pressure.
You know what, though? When I used to compete, it was never that. I never cared about getting hurt.
Yeah,
it was more of, like getting into the ring and the first 30 seconds out the way, and then you're comfortable, right? It's that build up to it. Again, but it's created by yourself. The pressure is created to yourself. But the more you compete, the less that happens.
Right.
But flip it round. When you first start fighting, you're like, I always wanted to be on the main event. I always wanted to be on the posters. Right. And then you get on the posters, you're creating that pressure for yourself, right? And you're in
I must win.
Yeah, I know. Exactly, right? And then you're in the changing room like, the last fight.
Yeah.
I'm waiting all day to fight, and it builds up. But it's part and parcel.
Yeah, for sure. And that's really the big speed bump that we hear all coaches and influencers talk about. It's that point, the change room to the fight, that fights are often won or lost.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. I made a post. I know Kelly had a fight a few weeks ago, but the walk, when you make the walk to the ring, like for me, that's when it's like, here we go. Like there's no turning back. Let's go. Yeah. That's quite a moment.
It is. Out the back as well, like so you're not in front of the crowd yet. You really get to see, especially if you've got a fighter just coming through, you get to see a lot about their personality.
Yeah.
What is this for you?
Yes. Good call. Yep.
And how they deal with it. And then you find out more about yourself as a coach too. Like, how can I deal with these certain situations? Sometimes, like, there was a fighter in England who was really, really good. He was world champion. And his name was Lee Chesters.
Okay.
And I always remember he used to get nerves. And he literally would hold his coach's hand into the ring.
Wow.
And he was a world champion, WMC world champion.
Sure.
Right?
That's nerves.
Yeah. And I remember so I fought him. And I remember looking over, hearing about he got very nervous before the fight. And he'd literally be into the ring and he'd be nervous. And I saw him, literally holding the coach's hand into the ring.
Really?
So I took advantage of that.
Sure.
To try and
Right.
And,
Keep you nervous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, Lee was a class act, and I think in terms of power, he had way more power than me. But I think the confidence is what beat him, in that fight.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's start at the top, I guess. So we have three title fights, professional, 1 amateur, right?
Yes.
4 title fights total.
4 in total. Yep.
All right, so let's talk about the main event. So I thank you. I had a lot of fun doing the interviews with the guys. That's again another thing I've never really done, but it was fun. It's cool to listen to everybody talk back and forth. The official main event is Deval Garvey versus Jay Davis, right?
No.
I'm sorry,
Tyson Green.
Tyson Green. Sorry.
Yep.
And that is for Tyson Green's middleweight strap. Beauty.
The one he did the famous.
I want to thank me.
Me.
Yeah. By the way, I loved that. That was great. I was so happy to be part of that moment.
I did. I saw a side of Tyson grow from that fight, actually.
Yes, agreed.
And then after that speech, I was like, oh, this is a different guy.
Yeah, good call.
And he's in his late 30s, I think.
Yep.
Everyone's really voting for, even though he's a champ, everyone's voting for Deval because they fought before.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're going to see a new Tyson Green.
You bet. New gym.
Yeah, new gym.
New confidence.
New confidence. He knows he's the champ. You could see when he did the interview, belt was there. He was prepped and ready, right?
Yeah.
He's talking differently.
Yep.
And, good luck to him. That just as a general person, good luck to him.
Yep, you bet.
I'm happy to see that for him.
Yep, you bet. Agreed.
Deval was no pushover.
Yep.
But it's not the same as the Tyson Green of old, for sure. He's going to bring something new to the table, absolutely. But, Deval was a strong competitor for sure.
You bet. I mean, the first fight was a little wonky. We had a ring issue, so move on to the next one. And Deval did stop Tyson, but like you said, I mean, that was a while ago. And there's a new gym, there's a new man. There, shed an old skin, and you got a new guy here. Also, along with that, Tyson can confidently say, like, maybe Deval beat me, and maybe he is better. We'll find out. But when you look at the resume of Tyson, like, he's only fought badasses. Like he, whether he won, whether he lost, but he took hard fights, amateur and pro. That's got to really help you think going into this. Like, I have fought everybody.
He nearly beat Cody Jerome.
He
came so close.
Yep.
And I think that was a confidence thing. Not in his ability in any way. I think it was a confidence thing. He put him down, and he should have gone in for the kill. And something sort of just drifted off.
Okay.
So it seems to be now he's tuned in.
Yeah, I got what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, we'll see, won't we, on the weekend?
That's right. Just out of curiosity, how do you feel? I'm not saying you got to predict a winner or loser, but how do you feel this fight's going to go?
I just think we're going to see a very different fight.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're going to see. I think we're going to see a very sharp Tyson, but then we're going to have to see what the tactics are of Deval.
Yeah.
Is it Deval that we all know that loves to clinch knee and elbow?
Yeah.
Which, seems to be one of the weaker, parts of Tyson's game.
Yep.
Has Tyson improved on that? So a lot of these questions need to be answered.
Yeah, agreed. I just had a question about Deval. I was thinking, that's okay. We'll move on. I'm personally, that's what I was going to ask. So Tyson's very hand heavy, as we've seen. I'm curious about the rules because, and I've had a conversation with Jay Davis as well, and he's made it very known to everybody that he thought he won that fight. But is there, and here's maybe where even when I'm commentating and I'm trying to judge the fight as well, here's where sometimes my own line gets muddy. If you box the whole fight, and I'm not saying Tyson, but just in general, your hands, and it's a close fight, maybe you're putting in more volume than the other opponent, but they're mixing in their punches, kicks, knees, and elbows. Does the full use of Muay Thai weapons in this particular scenario at the Stoney Nakoda for the Muay Thai World Cup, does the use of all weapons score higher than the use of one weapon, even though maybe,
Yeah, so it's a fair question, which you could probably talk a lot about. The truth is, WBC, they score every round.
Yeah.
So they don't do the traditional way of Muay Thai where you just score 3 and 4,
Yeah.
That's for gambling anyway.
And I hate that, by the way.
Yeah, me too. But I lost a couple of fights in Thailand because of those type of rules, right? But
Right.
you learn. So WBC score round by round. But yes, of course, you've got to use your full range of weapons. But if you're throwing punches, kicks, knees, elbows, but it's not taking any effect,
Yep.
and someone's landing heavy punches and taking effect, and doing damage, who are you going to score for?
For sure. The damage, for sure.
Correct.
For sure.
So that's what they will look at too. Yes, they have to look at, okay, this guy had beautiful technique, great teeps, good body kicks, but they were just bouncing off him.
Yep. Yep.
They're not as effective as someone coming forward, aggressive, heavy, even on the back foot, just pinging them off.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, I
with
agree.
heavy punches, knocking their head back and showing absolute, you know, accuracy with their punches, but also, you know, causing a mass effect. Then you got to sway towards that person.
Yeah. So is it? And for my own self, so it's fair to assume that if it's a close fight, just because you use more variety of Muay Thai weapons, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the fight.
Absolutely not.
Gotcha.
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I remember when I was living in Thailand, you know, I was at the same gym with Anuwat, and Anuwat was a heavy puncher.
You bet.
He did kick, but not much.
Yep.
And when he did kick, it was slow, but real heavy.
Right.
He low kicks, lots of low kicks, but his punches were so effective and accurate, right? And sometimes he wouldn't even bring his check up to block. He would just ride through his arm and just boom, throw the punch, right? Because he knew he landed that punch, he'd knock him back. So
Take one, give extra.
yeah, exactly that. So it's also understanding those rules, right? Okay, he's landing kicks, but at the same time, I'm landing real
Damage and effect.
damaging effects punches.
Yeah. Not to side steer, but totally to side steer here. Anuwat Kaewsamrit. What the hell was it? What was it that he could just touch you and you were out? What was it? Because when you watch it, I mean, now maybe you personally, you got to see it live, but...
Well, I got punched by him lots of times. I sparred him.
Oh, there you go.
I used to spar him 3 times a week.
Right. There you go.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yeah, 3 5-minute rounds.
Right.
With 18-ounce gloves. And I would still get a black eye.
What is it? Like, I mean, even Liam said he hit me once and I had a headache for 3 days or whatever. Like he destroyed me. What is it?
So he did the weirdest thing. And I had to watch him on pads to really understand it. So hook, uppercut, jab, didn't matter. They all wanted to land at the same thing, which was right there.
Okay.
And he literally, as he punched, he used to flick. So instead of punching straight, split second just before it landed, boom, he used to do this with his fist.
Oh, yeah,
And you
okay.
watch him shadowbox, it goes, and even with the hooks, like this.
Well, that's what I do now.
Yeah, you're going to now.
Yeah. Adding a little bit of torque on the end of it, hey?
That's right.
Yeah, a little snap.
And he didn't have much movement either in his legs. It was a boom.
Well, that's why it's so confusing. Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, it's a gift.
Oh, sure.
Without fail.
Sure.
The stats of him are insane. He didn't join the gym till he was 14,
Wow.
and he was Rajadam champion in 18 months.
Wow.
That's insane.
Which means a little bit more back then than it does now.
Oh, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't it just, right?
Yeah.
And so he had crazy heavy hands, but it wasn't just throwing 25 punches. They were concussive punches, but his timing and accuracy are the two things that put him apart from other people.
Yeah.
His accuracy was just nuts. He just seemed to land it
Yeah. Yeah, perfect.
all along the jaw, just perfectly.
Yeah,
right?
that bottom third, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw him fight live maybe 15, 20 times. It's a real magic time.
Nice.
But I saw him fight Singdam when it was for Singdam's Lumpini belt
Right.
and Anuwat's Rajadam title belt. First time in history, they were both defending their
wow.
belts, 126 pounds, I think.
Who won?
Anuwat knocked
Can't
him
remember.
out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Really good story about that one, right?
I'm listening.
So, huge bet. So, you've been at
I
Thailand.
bet.
A big pool of money.
Right.
Big, this high in the middle,
Right.
where both camps had agreed, you know?
Huh.
Police come in, security, and they put the money by the side.
Okay, this is legit. This is
Gunned
real.
up. You know, gunned up. This is at Rajadam Lumpini Stadium.
Okay.
And I remember I was living in Thailand, and the tickets were like 3,000 baht each for a ticket, which was a lot of money then.
Sure.
For me, anyway, I was living out there. I was
Right.
like, what? It was like 3 times the normal price for a
Right.
seat. It was sold out.
Huh.
Yeah. Anyway, of course, there's a bit of nerves, and I'm looking in the corner, and there's the lady of the boss called Madame. She's like, you could see she turned colour a little bit, right? First round, Singdam hits Anuwat with an elbow. Anuwat wobbles a little bit. She passes out
No way.
straight up. So they have to get literally a stretcher and put her out the back in
God.
the changing rooms, right?
She's just got to be thinking about that Stanley Cup-sized pile of money.
Not joking, right? So she's on a table. She's coming round and they're fanning her off. Are you okay? You know, her son's there and a couple of other people just making sure she's all right because the fight's still going on.
Right.
And as she comes round, did Anuwat win? And they went, look right. And she looked right, and there's Singh decked out.
Oh, nice! Yeah. What a time.
It was just, he went to throw a kick, Anuwat leant back and just went boom. So as he leant back, he landed a punch before Singhdam's feet hit the floor. That's how quick it was. Just boom.
I kind of recall it, but I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that.
Yeah, boom, out.
Yeah. Wow, eh?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So she went from like, yeah.
No kidding.
Now that gym, it didn't matter if there was fights going on, big fights going on, the gym never closed.
Okay.
Right? Never closed. The next day, the boss was so happy. He won a lot of money.
Yeah.
He was absolutely hammered after the fight. He went out and drunk the whiskey.
Yeah.
He went, everyone has day off today. And all the little kids, like, yeah! Like they had a big food festival, right? And everyone was coming to eat, and everyone was coming from around because where the gym was, it still is there, it's down like a street. The whole street had a party for it.
Really?
You know, it's the first time in history that...
Oh, right, right. Both belts and stuff. And obviously that kind of money.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow. There you go. The gym's closed and won't happen again for another 15 years. Better enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. What about, let's get back steering the show. Oh, I did have a question, though. You know, obviously, probably about Anuwat more than most. Did he usually win by knockout or lose by decision?
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, you could see later on in his life, it's insane, actually, because he fought Atachai.
Yeah, yeah.
And he lost to Atachai. Now, Atachai was unbelievable.
Yeah.
He always goes under the radar of greats, but he was really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Superb fighter. And he lost against Atachai, and that was at 129 or 130 pounds. But Anuwat had to weigh 126 pounds.
Yeah, I hear about this a lot.
If it doesn't sound like much, 3 pounds.
Yeah.
No, it might have been like Anuwat had to be 124 and Atachai could be 128. It was something like that, right? But that extra couple of pounds, it just killed him. Yeah. And you could see it in the fight.
Oh yeah,
He didn't look himself, right?
Yeah.
But him at 126 was a monster. So the gambling was to make it for gambling. It's not about the fighters. Or
help the
like
odds
that.
A little.
It's all about gambling, especially then. So they used to put Anuwat at a lower weight against people so they could have more of a chance, and then the gambling odds would change.
Right, makes sense.
Lurtzler was another one, right, He knocked Lurtzler out, actually. But the point being is what they used to do is Lurtzler used to run, didn't he?
Yep.
They used to call him like an eel or
yeah,
something.
The eel, yeah.
Yeah.
Lurtzler.
And he would move everywhere like that, so they'd make him a little bit heavier, so there'd be an advantage for him over Anuwat.
Yeah.
For gambling, right?
Silly. And I'm sure if you listen to this podcast, for the most part, but when you're cutting weight, 10 pounds, 30 pounds, it doesn't matter, except those last 3 to 4 pounds are the difference. They are the difference.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Mentally, it just does you in as well. You just look at the scales, you're like...
Yeah.
And you're looking for answers, and that's where your coach has got to step in and go, right,
yep,
get back in that sauna.
That's right. Yeah. I could, I'll, before we get back on track here, I can tell you, so again, Kelly fought at 118 2 weeks ago. She's never fought that low ever. And at the weigh-ins, like how she looked, I admit, I decided you get to step on that scale one time, and if they ask us to lose 1 gram, we're not doing it. Like, same, like, I made that call. Like, she looked terrible. Like, and then, you got a 5-round title. It's a title fight. Like, we've diminished enough. But yeah, I had to make that call on my own. She didn't know it yet, and she probably doesn't know it until now, to be honest. But I was ready. I don't care what that scale says. You get 1 shot. Yeah. But anyway, let's get back to the Muay Thai World Cup. There's our semi-main event, or there's a few, but would that be Shea Wedderburn versus Taylor McClatchy? All right. As mentioned on the interview, anytime this fight comes up, there's 50, 60 comments. Dude, the buzz of this one is like unheard of. How's the buzz been from your side? I would imagine from a promoter point of view, those are the kind of things you want to see.
Exactly what you want to see, right?
Sure.
So, Taylor's, how it's come across, very, very simply, I messaged One Championship and said, look, I want to put Taylor on, because I could see in comments, by the way, that Shay's dad had commented, oh, she's not the queen of Canada, my daughter is.
I see.
I was like,
I can run with that.
We'll work with this. So I messaged One Championship and said, look, Taylor's going to be moving to Thailand in the summer for 6 months.
Oh, okay.
But she wants to have a fight before she comes over. How about fighting on my show? So they asked about the opponent. I sent it off, and a day later, green light.
There you go. Were you expecting a green light?
Yeah.
or just thought, hey, I'll throw it out there, see what happens?
They have said no before.
Yeah.
To other guys that have managed or been on one championship, understandably, right?
Yep.
But this one, they were like, okay, we'll let that one be. So then I messaged Mark and said, what do you think? We'll take it.
Nice.
And then I was like, this one's going to get a lot of traction. I just knew.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be a lot of talk back and forward from both supporters as well.
Yep.
And I will say this, on the face-off interview that you did,
Yeah.
she conducted herself, Shay, brilliantly.
Yeah, you bet.
It was brilliant.
Yep.
Both girls were brilliant.
Yep, agreed. That was a good
And
interview.
it was a really good interview, probably the best out of all of them.
Agreed.
I'll be
Yep,
honest with
me
you.
too.
And there's lots of comments on there, and I feel that will give Shay confidence too.
Yeah, there's a lot of people supporting Shay. A lot.
Yeah, no, there is.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it wouldn't be a surprise if she won, Shay, right?
Sure,
Because
yeah.
we've seen a huge improvement
Yep.
when she fought Kate Clements,
That's right.
and then she won the title in Toronto, Ontario, and she looked pretty good.
Yep.
She's very big for the weight, very tall for the weight.
Yep. And very much getting, every time I see her, she's getting considerably better with, not just better at everything, but
And she's only young.
yeah, exactly.
20,
yeah.
I think, 20.
Oh, that young. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
I think
Wow.
she's 20, 21, something like that. So
Nothing
she-
but growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's got better. And, you know, Taylor is, no matter what anyone says, yes, number one contender.
Yep.
Forget all those sort of things, but she's been consistently the best girl in Canada
Yeah.
for 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe. You
Yep.
know, and she's beaten a lot of good names
Yes.
and fought a lot of good names too.
Big promotions.
And big promotions.
Yep.
So she's come in with all that experience.
Yep.
But when you are a champion, like we talked about with Tyson Green, something different happens.
Yep.
You grow.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really interested to see that fight.
Sure. I mean, anything can happen on fight night, but it sounds like both ladies have made it very clear. We'll see. May the best clinch win.
Yeah.
Again, we haven't seen. Well, to be honest, we saw Shay do a lot of clinching in her title fight there, and very dominant in the clinch. But it's Taylor has lived there forever. She loves the clinch, so it's. I'm curious, and either way, if Taylor's like, man, you're not going to beat my clinch, and Shay puts it on her, and Taylor's going to have to find a new tactic, or the other way around, like. I truly believe it's going to end up in the clinch. Someone's going to have to go, Spumoni, this ain't working for me. I got to do something else.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see who it's going to be.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, it should be good.
I am. But, you know, I've seen bits of footage of their training as a view on the social media.
Yep.
It looks like, from what I'm seeing, they're the coaches, so they'll have the tactics. But what I'm seeing is, well, Taylor is predominantly working on a lot of striking.
Yes, I see that too.
Drill work, striking as well. You look at Shay, she's working a lot of her legs and clinch work.
Yeah, I would even go so far as to say like counter clinching almost.
Yeah.
You know, spinning off and they're coming in
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. So you can tell that there's been a little homework between the two.
Yeah, yeah. Good.
I suspect this will be the loudest fight of the night.
I think from the corners.
Isn't that the truth? But I think this has created enough buzz that it's got, even if you weren't invested, you read the comments and you got invested. Now, don't get me wrong, Dunamis always brings a strong crowd, and they got a ton of fighters coming.
Yeah.
But I suspect this will be, if I had to pick one, I mean, it could be many, but the one where people are on the edge of their seats and really invested, I think it's that one.
I think so.
And me too.
I think there'll be a lot of people tuning in from Ottawa as well
Yeah, good
to
call.
watch that fight.
Yeah, East versus West, Canadian title. Yeah, I can't wait. So after that, whether it's a win or a loss, does Taylor go back to one championship? Can she keep fighting for the Muay Thai World Cup?
Yeah, she could. Well, she goes back to Thailand. Well, she goes to Thailand in the summer for 6 months. I'd have to see what happens after that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, if she gets a couple of wins in one championship, then who knows, right?
Yep. Yeah, very true. And like you said, let's say outside of Shay, and I don't mean any disrespect, of course, but before Shay became the champion, really in Canada for the most part, there was Ashley Nicol, rest in peace, and Taylor McClatchy. That's it.
Yeah.
For the most part, at least at the top of that hill. So it is cool to see Shay come through and yeah, man. For how hard they celebrated on her title win in Ontario there in November, I would imagine it would be a scene if she wins again in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, defending her belt.
Yeah.
Does she get a new? If Shay wins, does she get a new belt or does she keep the belt?
She keeps the belt.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how
How
that
it
worked.
works is if you lose the belt, you have to give the belt for photos in the ring.
Yeah.
And then you get the belt back.
And then they order a new one?
Yeah, and we order a new one for you.
Yeah, cool,
So-
cool. Yeah, to be honest, I like that better. I don't like this. Like I know the UFC used to do it. Every time you win, even if you're the champ, you get a new
another
belt.
one, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
come on. You're just pretending like you won all these.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, no, I like that system. So.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Right on. And then our third professional fight for WBC super welterweight. Have I got that right?
Yep.
That is Jay Davis versus Quinn Waslick.
Yeah.
In the interview, these guys have said, yeah, we've been circling the wagon for a while. We kind of knew this one was coming up. Did you come up with this match, or how did? To be honest, how did? Because I've said on a podcast maybe a year ago, maybe a little longer, that Duvall, Tyson, Jay, and Quinn, like there's kind of a little circle that could happen there.
Yep.
These are in two different weight classes, obviously, but how did these matchups come about?
Well, Jay is wanted to rematch with Tyson.
Clearly.
Oh yeah. And I said no because Duval is the rightful next one.
Agreed.
To fight,
Agreed.
right?
Yeah.
So you have to wait, or you could fight again.
Yep.
So I was looking at the list. Can you make 155? 154 actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got you a fight.
I got you a fight. What do you think? Yeah, I'll take that.
Nice. Nice.
So then I spoke to Jake, and Jake was like, "Yep,
yeah, of course.
yeah, he'll take it." And I think it's a really good fight.
Agreed. Agreed.
I think it could be the fight of the night.
I agree with that too.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, again, I only know from what I see, what I watch, all that good stuff. It's going to be the powerhouse of Quinn versus the Muay Thai technique of Jay.
Yep.
So maybe the hammer versus the surgeon kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's also it's a new weight class for Jay.
Yep.
He's quite a thick kid.
Yep. Yep.
So he's got to drop 6 pounds, and I'd like to see how he adapts to that new weight regime as such, right?
Yep. And not to call you out, Quinn, but every time I see you make 155 pounds, usually about 10 minutes before the scale, you look like you're dead on the floor. So it can't be easy necessarily for him. He's a big boy.
It's funny, they're not like tall or anything, but they're thick set, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
You know?
I always make the joke commentating that when Quinn fights, I can't invite my wife. Eyes down. You can't look. Yeah, he's chiseled. Yeah, both come from a strong camp. I mean, I was just out in Ottawa commentating. Airdrie just had a big win, so coming into fight week, they're going to be motivated. Dunamis has always got their thing going on. I suspect this will be a high energy fight. I think round one, in my opinion, will be fairly traditional. Let's see what's going on here. And then again, just my opinion. I just have a feeling that someone's going to throw something good and heavy by a good combination. The other fighter is going to be like, that, nope. And they're going to put it on, and then bang, we got to fight.
Yep.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, no, I think you're completely right. I think Quinn will always bring pressure.
Yes.
That's what he does.
Pressure fighter, yeah.
He's a pressure fighter, and he'll look for the big shots, and Jay will try and move, of course.
Yep.
And I like you said, I think middle of round 2 to 3, we'll really get to see if both guys, who wants it the most, I think.
Yeah.
That's for sure. First round, it might be a feel-out process, might be a couple of big shots landed, but I do have a feeling that that's going to be fight of the night.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much, very much. And then we have, so I guess that would be Duvall, and then Quinn, that would be 2. Dunamis has 7 fighters that night, I hear, right? Woo,
Yeah,
busy that
they've got some
night,
juniors on, yeah. They've got some juniors on as well, and a couple of amateurs, Reese Baxter's on it too.
Yeah, big fan of him. Before we get there, let's talk about our amateur title.
Yep.
Dylan Stone versus Hassan Hikmatov.
Yeah.
Number 1, Hassan, I don't know how to use Instagram Live, but you need to do better than me, bro.
He wasn't prepared at all, was he? I was like, oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah. Turn mute on, then off. But just kidding, buddy. Just kidding. I'll tell you what, he got me with a good one, man, on April 1st.
Oh, yeah.
When he sent that.
Well, he didn't get me because I knew it. I actually read it a bit later.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, the messages come out.
Right.
And I looked at it, was like,
That was good.
Yeah, that was a good one, yeah.
For those who don't know.
It fooled Dylan.
Yeah,
he
and
was
me.
in the gym like, oh, my God. I'm like,
Hassan on April 1st put in a little text conversation, sorry, fight off. So forgot it was April 1st. I was good until that. Like, oh, no. And then, just kidding. That was good.
Good mind games, though, right?
Yeah, that was good, man. That was good. Now, these guys are fighting for the WBC Amateur Canadian title. What weight class is this one?
140 pounds.
140?
Yeah.
What do you call that, welterweight?
No, that's...
Super lightweight?
Yes, super lightweight.
Nice.
Or light welter, whatever, however you want to see it, right?
Yeah, okay. And this is a rematch from 2-3 years ago now.
Yes.
And I did rewatch this fight, and let's be real, man. Dylan ate some tremendous left hooks in that fight, and Hassan, I hope I'm not giving away any game plans here, but clearly likes to catch that lead leg, pull it to the left, and line up a left hook. How do you think this fight's going to go?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, the first fight, Hassan clearly won.
Clearly.
Round 1 and 2 especially.
Yes.
And then Dylan shook his head off,
Yep.
started to score with kicks, but they weren't effective enough.
Right.
That was the problem.
And to be honest, during that fight, like it changed. They went from sort of puncher kicker to then clincher. Like they kind of went back and forth. It was good. Good fight.
And both guys, it's a good thing about amateurs. Both guys have dramatically improved.
Yes. Yeah.
Dramatically. They took it more seriously, right?
Yep. Staying active.
Yeah, staying active. Dylan, that was 3 years ago, I believe. Dylan is a different weight class now. That was at 132. It's at 140.
Okay.
So the size will definitely be with Dylan.
Yeah.
He's even now still growing. I think he's 22, 23. He's still growing as such, right? So there will be the size factor, but you can't write off Hassan with those hands.
Man, he can close the distance like lightning. It's crazy.
He's used to fighting taller people. He gets that space gap at speed.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson.
That's right.
Mike Tyson would actually fight a distance, and all of a sudden, boom, he's right in there.
That's right. Yeah.
And
good
then,
call.
and he used to get inside and throw bombs, and that's what Hassan's good at.
Yeah. And I don't know where Hassan's from, but wherever he was from taught him to be a hardened man. He is not scared to fight.
Tajikistan.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Just not scared to do the business. The mental thing clearly doesn't bother him.
His brother too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, his brother's fighting MMA in a couple of weeks.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
His MMA fight. So it's, you know what to expect from Hassan.
Yeah.
He's going to be in your face. He's going to be very well conditioned, and he's going to throw big hands.
Yeah.
He's exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Dylan is still developing as a fighter. He does have a nice Muay Thai style, but I feel 3-4 years ago, he had all of those things, but he didn't have the confidence.
I see. Yeah.
Right? And now he seems to be going into there with absolute confidence.
Sure.
It's a different guy.
Yeah. And clearly he just got an opportunity to be sponsored at, I can't remember,
Phuket Muay Thai.
Phuket Muay Thai, that's right. And you'd think coming into fight week, man, that's got to give you a burst of energy.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. Like I said, that's an interesting fight for sure. I think the first 2 rounds will really judge how that fight's going to go.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. And again, like you said, a lot of growth happens in 2-3 years, especially when you're young. But Hassan does have that style, that overhand right for guys who like to stay upright.
He does, and he also slips in. Yep. So he'll sometimes slip in and throw a left uppercut.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Beautiful left uppercut.
Irish uppercut.
That's it.
Called.
Yeah. Good
so
call.
He'll slip in and throw that punch as well.
Yeah.
So his weapons are clearly punching.
Yep.
And he can punch.
Yes. Yep. And I think a good weapon of him is just being harder than a coffin nail. Like you're not gonna wave his confidence or anything like that in there. He's got a job to do. He's gonna do it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And like we just talked about, that's got to be 70% of it, honestly. Right? Yeah, it should be good. So those are our title fights, amateur, professional. What break down some other matchups for us, man? There's even the amateurs. There's nothing but great fights here.
No, some really good fights. When you make them go, oh,
yeah.
Well, that was agreed. Oh, it's gonna be a good one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got Reese versus Omar from WTM.
Nice.
Reese Baxter.
Yeah, against Omar Al-Mabda, I believe, right? Yeah, tall, Taekwondo background, I believe.
Yeah, awkward, isn't he?
Yeah, a little bit.
Awkward style. So that'd be interesting to see Reese's growth. I saw him last year, and I was like, this guy's good.
Yeah.
This kid's good, right? And then
he's got a new section of abs every time I see a picture of him, man.
He's
Holy
in
cow.
great shape.
Yeah.
And then, of course, again, you can't write off Omar. He's got this relaxed style.
Long, rangy.
Awkward kicks.
Yeah.
Can throw people off.
Yeah, for sure. And comes from a good camp. And training, obviously, alongside his teammate. So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, then we got Nicole's fighting Teresa Stanley.
Who just won, as a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Teresa Stanley. Yeah, good. Nice.
And it was difficult. Trying to match a 16, 17-year-old is very difficult. There's not a huge pool of fighters. There were a couple, but they're just unavailable.
Sure.
So I was like, well, she's 17. She could fight adult.
Sure.
So we've made it modified Muay Thai, so there's no elbows.
Okay.
How about Teresa Stanley? I think it's a fair fight.
Yeah.
Teresa has the experience in terms of more active recently, but
Yep.
Nicole's fought in Thailand.
Right.
She fought
Out in Toronto, in
Calgary.
Calgary.
She fought in Thailand, against a lady that was in her 30s.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a good fight, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Definitely a clash of styles. Teresa, proudly from a Taekwondo background. I think no elbows, in my opinion, will help Teresa more than Nicole.
Yep.
It's just my opinion. But, yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, Teresa coming off a win a few weeks ago, in a full Muay Thai fight. So I suspect she feels pretty good going into this one.
Yep.
And I've seen Nicole fight lots. I'm always seeing her in here training. So I think this is a good. It's easy to say. I'm really butchering this, but new lion, old lion kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's easy to say, but I think that's forget that. I think for Nicole to step up where she's at for age, for experience. To have somebody, and Teresa's not just, a good fight, but that's also a super strong woman who's going to be hard to break confidence.
Yeah.
Like it's more than just a punch and a kick when you're fighting Teresa.
Correct.
You're fighting someone who's game. So I think that for both, because Teresa's a little bit newer to the Muay Thai game, I think this is the perfect matchup in my opinion.
It is, yeah, it's good match. When I sort of thought about it, I was like, you know what? That works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
it works.
Yeah,
So,
I was happy to see that one. Who else we got?
well, the juniors. What I'm really happy about, of course, the pros and the amateurs and the title fights, but we talked about it before. The junior pool of fighters, I've always been a bit, there isn't enough yet.
Yep.
And first few shows, they didn't have any juniors on.
Yep.
Last few shows, I started to put them on because they've got better.
Yes.
The talent's got better.
Yes, quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. You got the brothers Kai Garner.
Yep.
He's fighting Drake, Adrian's son.
That's right.
So that'd be
in a rematch.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I'm interested to see Adam Casey from
Oh, right.
Smandich.
Team Smandich, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic son.
Fighting Santi.
Yeah,
from-
Santi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lump
so
on
that'd be
your
a good
shoulder
fight,
part.
yeah. So that'd be an interesting fight, the juniors.
Yep, agreed. All those are with chest protector, helmet, shin guards, right?
No. So, yes, some are.
Okay.
If it's, so the rules are 12 and under, yes.
Okay.
Above that, no.
Okay, cool.
But it can be agreed between coaches, right?
Sure. Okay.
So, yeah, of course, the head guards, gym pads.
Yeah, but the chest protector. Yeah. I obviously get why, but God, you feel like the Michelin man wearing those things.
Yeah, to be honest with you, the chest protector, for me, is for tournaments.
Yeah.
So if you've got a kid, 10 years old and he's going to be potentially fighting 8 fights over the course of a weekend, then as much padding as you can possibly get.
Yeah, save your ribs.
Yeah, save the ribs. And then, of course, not even just that, it's getting them fights, keeping them active,
Yep.
experience,
Yep.
right? Because you do have the kid that could win a fight and his,
That's right.
like you said, ribs hurt and he can't fight the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
That's true. The chest protector keeps it so you can fight every weekend for
Yep.
the most part.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Who else we got? I know there's a couple of matchups that really caught my eye. I know there's somebody from Airdrie, right? Belgrade's Dragons fighting?
Yeah. So you got pronounce his name. It's Arian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's one of the young kids come through. Apparently, he's a great talent.
Nice.
So yeah, like I said, there's Caleb Carson as well from Muay Thai Academy.
Right?
Yeah. So he will. Yeah. Like I said, what I really like about this card, I have to be honest with myself and say, the guys, the old guard, like you said, the old Lions, have either gone on to one championship or retired.
Yep. Or we're close to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is finding a new star,
Yeah. Yeah.
or maybe 2 or 3,
Yeah, that's right.
to potentially put into one championship tournaments the next few years.
Sure.
Or go on to bigger things with WBC, maybe win a world title or something like that. Or
Right.
we can bring another world title over here.
Yeah.
These are things, targets now. And I think we're seeing this with the juniors and some of the amateurs, for example, like Dylan Hassan, I think they're 22, 23. Reese is 23. We've got some really good youngsters coming through.
And I remember you mentioned this, not to stroke you or nothing, but I remember you talking about this, when the Road to One thing was happening. And let's be honest, me, maybe not you, probably not you, people like me, we were so involved in the moment that we forget that soon this moment's gone because everyone's off to the big show or they're retired. And so I remember you saying, we got to, kind of not start again, but grassroots, we got to bring up the young. And you went, oh, yeah, no, that's cool. All these guys will start fighting. They'll still fight forever. And then all of a sudden they're not.
No.
And it's true. We in the last two years, you've really started to see the. I'm starting to recognize juniors from more events and more fights, and you're right. Like the juniors are really coming up here. You know, it's been cool from my point of view to, like, I hear you say what's going to happen, and then it happens later on. Oh shit, you're right. And then we're going to try to do this. Like, oh neat. Like, oh shit, okay, I see it happening. Like, it really is a process, and obviously you've been around a long time doing it, but it's cool that I'm seeing this process finally come to fruition. Like these kids fighting on this show, but back in the day, maybe even not even long ago, it was like, oh, these cute little kids, oh yay, make sure they get a lollipop, wave hi to your mom. But now it's like, no, this is a fight, and you're pretty good, and it's on a big show. You know, they're taking it just as serious as the higher end amateurs, if not professionals.
No, they are, and you know we're giving them posters as well. They're getting a bit of advertisements. It's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm on the show,
right?
But you know how the Muay Thai World Cup runs now. We do the juniors and amateurs, and then we switch off and have an intermission, and then the pros come on, and the whole scene changes, right?
Right.
And the idea behind that concept is very, very simple. So these kids can watch the amateurs. I want to fight. I want to be an amateur one day.
Yep.
And then it's like, I want to be a pro.
Yep.
And then they'll see it on I want to be the main fight, because I can see my name on the board.
Yep.
It's darker in here. You've got all the strobe lights going.
Yep.
It's a different atmosphere.
Yep.
Something to aspire. If you just have a show where that was from the beginning, it's less to aspire to, right?
Agreed. Yeah. And I personally have heard at least 3 or 4 people say, like, man, I want to fight with the lights off. I want to get there.
Yeah.
You know? And like, for me, I just didn't think. I'm just happy to be there and be part of it. Hi, everybody. But like, I get why it was done to really put a highlight on the professionals, but maybe you did, probably did, but I didn't realize that it would have such an effect on the people under the card. Like, it's the same thing with the grading and finding fights for the amateurs, and now there's nationals, and now there's world championships. Like, that's the reality why we're seeing all these juniors come. It's you started training. Hey, if you train 3 months, we might have a first step for you. And then there's a few more if you're interested. Oh, hey, you got there? Hey, guess what? Maybe we can get you on this fight card. Oh, you like fighting on this one? Hey, well, if you want to fight as a pro and have the lights off and have a feature, like just the steps are there, right?
There is, yeah. I think like when UFC really came about, let's say the last 10 years,
Yep.
and it became more mainstream, that helped gyms. UFC helped gyms.
For sure.
Doesn't matter what it is, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, wrestling, kickboxing, whatever. But now you're getting one championship help the striking side
Yes.
of things.
Yes.
So people are watching one championship and now saying, well, I could do that.
Yep.
So I could join a local gym and potentially get into that.
Right.
You know?
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
So one championship is doing exactly that. It's gyms all around the world.
Yep. Good
It's
call.
giving people chances to fight and actually earn some money.
That's right. Yeah,
You know?
that's right. You know what else is funny? I said this on one or maybe on the last podcast with Rob. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump from here. I'm starting to now have people contact me, messaging through the podcast and stuff. That's like, hey, did you catch that thing with Nico Carrillo? Just throw out a name and like, yeah, he's like 82% knockout rate when he's fighting people under 5'9" who are left-footed, who ate pad thai last Tuesday, who are missing an eyelid. And it's like, how do you people know all this? Like, I'm getting messages from people who are giving me like baseball stats.
Yeah,
like,
it's nuts.
It's crazy.
It's great though.
Of course.
You think 10 years ago, and if I said that to you, you'd be like, yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yep.
It is insane. One thing I will say about the one championship, take your time getting in it.
Sure.
Because those little gloves change everything.
Yeah, including your lifespan.
Yeah, your career. And you're going to be fighting less, so maybe twice a year.
Right.
Potentially 3, but usually twice a year. Even the superstars, like Rod Tang, fight twice a year. Super Leg, fight twice a year.
Yep.
Maybe 3, depending on right. But take your time getting into one and actually learn the craft of everything else around it. The WBCs.
Right.
Climbing up those ranks. Potentially go to Thailand, have a few fights.
Yes.
And when you get the call from one, make sure you're not like 18 or 19.
Right.
Personally, that's what I think.
Sure.
You know? I think you need to develop completely into an adult first, have a lot of fights and experience before you go into one.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Don't be in a rush. Don't be bugging them. Let them contact you. Just let it cook a little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure. That makes sense. And you see that those who I'm not calling any names, it doesn't matter, but don't have that experience. Like you can see the experience gap in real time. When it's happening. Ooh.
There's no easy fights on one.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's no build-ups either.
Yeah, that's right.
Straighten the lines in from first fight.
That's right.
Linda Knowles straight away fights Roman Carrillo.
And
first fight. You know?
I mean, Cody Jerome fighting Luke Lacey
yeah.
and Taylor even. I couldn't agree more. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I heard everybody say, like, oh, he's going to get murdered, he's going to get slaughtered. First of all, easy when you're an armchair quarterback to say that kind of stuff.
Correct.
But it's also the situation, and I heard Lyndon say it lots, like, I might not win, but I might. Like, how can I say no to this? Like, this is a big opportunity. You can't turn that down. I might not win, but I might win. You know, like, I don't blame him at all. Unfortunately, man, I saw a video. I'm glad that he's okay and everything, but boy, that was a scary knockout, man.
He's another one that's sort of gone under the radar, right? Because one doesn't really deal with heavyweights too much. It's more for glory kickboxing, right?
Agreed.
But that guy, I think, could stand toe to toe with the best of them.
Yes.
I don't think he could beat Rico, but
no,
he could definitely be in the top 5.
Yep.
His power is another level.
Yes, he moves well for a heavyweight.
So relaxed.
Yes, yeah, agreed.
You know, there wasn't an 8 count, but Lyndon slipped and he sort of just walked to the camera, run back in,
Right.
bang, bang.
Over. Yep.
Clean and crisp punching, and he is a problem.
Yes, I don't see anybody for him.
No.
Honestly, I honestly think he might have to, you know, I don't know nothing about nothing, but you might want to think about going over to Glory just for your own career, like, you know.
Yeah.
I'm glad Lyndon was okay, but yeah, man, that was one of those ones where you're like, oh man, I don't want to see those. Like,
Well, I've seen Lyndon fight tons upon tons upon tons of times. He is tough as you like.
right.
Hard as nails. And first of all, the size difference was ridiculous.
Yes.
Lyndon's not actually a very big super heavyweight in any way.
And
But
Roman's
he's still a big.
6'7",
Yeah, I know. But chiseled.
shredded. Yeah.
Shredded.
Yeah.
So imagine like he's had a day off. He'd probably be even, you know,
Yeah,
like.
no kidding.
And yeah, I think he'll be champion for a long time.
Yeah, agreed.
Kickboxing or Muay Thai, it doesn't matter.
Yep, I totally agree with you. Totally agree. Just before we get to the end here, tell me your top 3 favorite matchups you're looking forward to this weekend.
Definitely Taylor and Shea.
Yep.
Absolutely. I think fight of the night, like we talked about with Quinn and Joe Davis.
Yep.
And then I will say, I'm really looking forward to Hassan and Dylan.
Yeah.
You know, a development of Dylan, and if Hassan, you know, he is a puncher like we talked about, but how Hassan's going to deal with the size as well.
Yeah.
Because like I said, Dylan's a much bigger opponent this time, right?
Right.
So I think that'll be a great fight.
And even for my own curiosity, just between those two, like, you know, everyone always says that, oh, I've grown, I've gotten better. I'm like, well, from my point of view, like, let's see.
Yeah,
let's see.
The only way to show it is by competing.
Yeah, and I'm very curious to see. Like, I'm genuinely let's see who's really improved more. Yeah, I agree. How about from the undercard? Anyone you're looking forward to, or a big one?
Like I said, the juniors definitely looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Caleb Carson. I think the Muay Thai Academy are bringing out some. They've got a lot of fighters now coming through.
You bet.
So,
Shout out to Adrian.
Yeah,
Great
shout out
dude.
to Adrian. He's just doing wonders up there, isn't he?
You bet.
You know, it's a shame up in BC. It's very hard to promote Muay Thai. I know they do an amateur side of it, but to actually do professional events, it's a shame there isn't more, because I know that he would have guys out all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
By the way, that car alarm, you'll have to excuse us. That has nothing to do with us. Speaking of Adrian and Muay Thai Academy, I know that there's going to be a seminar going out there, Mr. Superlek.
Yep.
Let's talk about the Calgary curse.
Oh, you had to bring it up.
I'm sorry.
The curse of me and booking seminars. So it all started 48 hours before his fight. I spoke to the
Superlek?
No. Giorgio Petrosian.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
48 hours before he fought Superbon.
Right.
Oh, that's not good, is it?
Yeah.
And that was a horrendous knockout. And I was like...
It's one of the best knockouts I've ever seen, to be honest.
It was awful, though, wasn't it, how he felt.
Yes, of course.
And I was like, you know, but the seminars was successful.
Yep.
I just thought that was it, you know. Anyway, Andy Sauer booked him, and then he fought Gregorian. And then smashed his leg up.
Yeah.
Oh, what's going on here? Nong-O.
That would hurt.
Got Nong-O before he fought Haggerty, and He got knocked out. I was like, this is a common occurrence.
Seeing a trend here.
Liam Harrison.
Yep.
Got stopped by low kicks by Nong O.
Yep.
I was like,
what's happening here?
Then super leg. And then he got beaten recently.
Yep. Well, boy, did he ever. And nothing against him. Nabil is on fire, man.
Yeah, Nabil's on fire. The only one I haven't cursed is Damien Trainer.
That's right.
But he recently put glasses on, so maybe I've blinded him.
Who's out there that we don't like? Bring them in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty coincidental, man, how that happened.
Yeah, I know.
It's pretty funny.
Justin Trudeau.
Bring him in. Bring a seminar. Good idea. Let me be the one. Let me be the one. The gloves on.
Yeah, there'll be a fine lineup for that one.
Yeah, you
in
bet.
Alberta, geez.
People will pay. All right. What's give us some last thoughts on this, man. I guess I'll start. I'm very much looking. For me personally, my first thought is driving out to that venue. When you go down the hill and you see the venue, just that, I'm like, man, this is going to be awesome. Like, hopefully you stay. For those who are staying, obviously sold out, so there's going to be a lot of people. But just like, man, there's something to say in that area when you wake up and you forget and you open the blinds, like, oh yeah, look where I'm at. So I'm and then you just said it's like almost a junior venue to Sutina Event Center. So I'm really looking forward to that. And just from me, I know I commentate. I come to all these fights. Usually, the juniors okay, and then they get a little better. But man, from start to finish, I'm like maybe this smaller, maybe the big superstars have gone. But this is freaking legit, man. This is a legit card from top to bottom. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I am. Exactly like you said, the venue, for me, as a promoter, you get excited about different things. Of course, you get excited about the fights, first and foremost. But then there's the other things you get excited about. I've got a new venue.
Right.
I don't want to see how people deal with this venue.
Right.
How they react to it.
Is that something you keep an eye out for? Like, just how people react to the venue? Is that something you're watching?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to get feedback.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
ultimately, they're buying tickets.
But I mean, do you like the feedback from observing or from them telling you? Because people blow smoke up your ass, no?
Yeah, there is, but also, but I need criticism.
Sure.
I
Of
need
course,
that.
of course.
Yeah, I need, this wasn't good. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I need to work on that for next one, right?
Sure.
And when you go to a new venue, even though I know what I'm doing and my team knows what they're doing, the venue doesn't always.
Right. That's true.
That's not passing blame or anything like that. I have to learn about the venue too, so the shows are only going to get better. So this goes well. We'll have another event before the summer in June, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm looking to bring a team over from England.
Nice. Okay.
So we'll see how these winners do.
Sure.
And if they're available for June, I'm likely to bring 2 or 3 guys from England over.
See, this is why I want you on here, man. We always get to learn stuff on
There
here.
you go. But I think we need it, right? A lot of who's number one is being decided or has been decided or close. I do think we now need to start going, right, let's build this team properly. Bring a couple of guys over from England, even if you lose. Because, English at the moment, they've got to be in the top 3 in the world.
Without a doubt.
Right?
Yep.
So even if they lose, it's about putting in a great performance.
Yep.
That can give them potential opportunities to fight on other shows in other countries, right?
Yeah.
And I think that could happen. So why not? Why not bring a team over from England?
Yeah.
Bring a couple over
That's great.
and bring them out to the Rockies.
That's right. Yeah. Maybe they end up being new Canadians as well.
Could be. Depends who it is.
That's right. Oh, man, you were just saying about England. Well, and the other thing, too, is like we talked about, take your time getting to one championship. I want to fight international. I want to fight. Like, it doesn't work like.
No.
Clean out your pool. We reach a little further, clean out that pool, reach a little further. So it sounds like that pool in the Canadian pool for some of us are starting to get a little emptied and time to reach a little further.
Yeah, I think so. You saw it with Cody. He became number one, clearly, in his weight division. You saw it with Jake.
Yep.
He became number one. And he has a right then to go to the next opportunity. Really, if there wasn't a one championship getting involved, they would probably be on Muay Thai World Cups against internationals and fighting for WBC World titles, right?
Without a doubt. Yeah, for sure.
So they'll have that. So this is the next step for a fight that, all right, you're number one. You got the strap, that's fine. Let's see if you can go for an international scrap. Or just a bout against someone out of the country.
That's right.
And you know what? I think the fans will appreciate that too.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And our next door neighbor is the U.S., man. They have really had a big uprise of Muay Thai.
Well, Patrick Riviera behind it.
Yes, shout out Patrick Hillier.
Yeah, first of all, he's a 24/7 workhorse.
Yeah.
First and foremost, he's got like 8 gyms, 9 gyms.
Holy good Lord.
Insane. on top of running the WBC USA, and I had a good conversation with him last month about how he works with the WBC, how it works. I've got some really good ideas of him, actually. But I think the growth there, especially like sort of just into the COVID period, coming out of COVID period, we're starting to see some good fighters. I mean, for me, 8 to 10 pounds victory is the greatest American victory in Muay Thai.
Fair to say.
I don't think there's one bit better.
Fair to say.
I don't think there is in Muay Thai. I don't think there is. Don't get me wrong, they've got some. You got Eddie Abasolo, of course.
Yep.
Luke Leslie, as we talked about.
Yep.
You've got some good guys, legit guys. But I think that performance, he made Saxen look old.
Sure
I know he
did,
is
man.
old too. And you know, the man that yields to no one.
Yeah.
He was battered.
Who mollywopped Liam Harrison, who we all know. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, that was crazy.
He was precise. His game plan, he was cool.
Yep.
His game plan was bang on. I don't know if you saw, he was kicking the legs.
Yep.
And then started to work boxing instead of going toe to toe straight away.
Yeah.
Just kicked his legs. His legs were killing him.
You could tell.
It.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he moved. And he just countered.
Yeah.
And even when he put him down, he didn't rush in.
Right.
Because he knows he's still dangerous.
That's
there.
right.
For me, I'm sure there'll be someone who'll comment differently. From what I can gather, that's probably the best Muay Thai victory for an American.
Sure, yeah. Someone's going to bust out some stat. 1985, there was...
Yeah, maybe. But a lot of the time, the rules weren't, and here too, the rules weren't Muay Thai then, was it?
That's true.
It was more like the kickboxing.
Yeah,
or,
PKA.
Yeah, kicks above the waist, PKA.
Yep, stupid karate boots and stuff.
Yep,
for sure. Now, for some really silly reason, you can't make it to these fights. How do we watch them?
Pay-per-view, MuayThaiWorldCup.com.
Beauty, nice.
Yeah. And you can get your Super Leg tickets there too.
Oh, there you go.
The next day.
And like what, 10 left maybe?
Yeah, I think we got about 7 or 8 left now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was fine with the seminars. Sales come the last minute.
Yes.
They want to see him land on the turf
Right.
basically. Oh, he is here.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I think he lands Wednesday.
Oh,
He's
nice.
going to Vancouver first, doing a seminar on a Friday.
Yeah, going coast to coast, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he's going from us to Ontario, and I think he's doing 7 or 8 and then he's doing Montreal, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, great for him. But Philip Wong said it best about seminars and ties, and that's why we're getting a lot of Farangs beating them, is because they're not taking it as seriously as before.
Sure.
You could get in shape for a 5-rounder in 3 weeks. That's how they used to do it. You know, ties don't, in general, apart from Sanshai, they don't really go out boozing and things like that, right? So they would fight once a month.
Yeah.
But now where you're fighting twice a year, you can't have that mentality.
That's true.
You have to stay fit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
When you get the call, you need to do 8 weeks,
Right.
6, 7, 8 weeks, like proper training, not like before.
Right.
Training has to change, and they're getting famous and they're going doing seminars and earning money. Great to them, but you've also got to put time aside for your training. That's the reason why you got the seminars, because you're famous for fighting.
Right. But
And
what's
I've
that?
heard this about Super Leg. He didn't train particularly hard.
I mean,
I don't know.
who am I to say? But I'm gonna say it. I described it. Everyone's like, "Oh, super leg. Oh, he looked out of shape." Like for super leg, I'm not saying in general. For super leg, I described it as it looked like when you put a block of cheese in the microwave for 10 seconds. Like
Yeah.
there was no chisel at all anywhere on him.
It's going to make a good story, though. If you think about it, Super Leg won the first,
Yep.
Bill won the second, Trilogy next, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
and
for
we'll
sure.
see from there.
And I hear from like Liam. Like I know Liam Harrison talked about
He
it a
had
little
knee
bit.
injury, didn't he, or something?
I don't know. I didn't hear that, but he said that there was definitely a reason behind it.
Yeah.
Like it'll come out. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, well, okay. So, of course, me super lek. But what's that famous saying by Hagler? You know, it's hard to get up and go for a run when you're at 4 a.m. when you're sleeping in silk pajamas.
Yeah.
You know.
You actually told me about that.
No,
You told me about that, yeah.
oh, there you go.
About that saying, that, you know, seen it since. Yes, I agree with that statement. And that's why you got to appreciate people like Floyd Mayweather,
Yep.
who didn't have to do that.
That's
he
right.
did. And he continued doing it.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
have to appreciate. And it is harder when you get relaxed and earn some money.
Sure.
McGregor's a prime example.
Isn't that the point? You grind to get out of that lifestyle,
Yeah, absolutely.
or maybe not.
But I think it's in you too.
Yeah.
Some
Agree.
people just have it in them.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
to do that.
Yeah.
Others, just harder to. If you come from nothing and all of a sudden you're like,
Yeah. This is all the
you're on a
stuff I've
yacht.
dreamed about.
You're on a yacht,
Yeah.
you know, popping bottles of champagne. This is, why do I need to do it anymore?
Yeah. I sure as hell wouldn't be personally.
No, but that's why you've got to appreciate Mayweather,
That's right.
because
Yeah.
he did it
Yep.
and still doing now, isn't he? Exhibitions.
That's
from
right.
time to time, yeah.
You know, George Foreman, you know, rest in peace, same thing with
Yeah.
long, late career. And yeah, it's cool. All right, guys. That's it. Muay Thai World Cup. It is happening this weekend. I will get the audio out for sure today, right when I get home, and then I'll have the video first thing tomorrow morning. Getting amped for this. Send me messages. Tell me your comments. I want to hear about your favorite fights, who you think's going to win, who you think's going to lose. I'll tell you the same. It just won't be on here. And, man, I rolled on April 12th. Final word, sir.
Can't get a ticket, pay-per-view it. Fantastic card. We're going to make some announcements on the card too about our June card. So
Nice.
yeah, looking forward to it.
All right.
Nearly there.
All right, guys. Other than that, I'll see you Saturday in the crowd. And if not, you'll hear my beautiful voice on Saturday. So let's go. A few days left. See you soon.